This is RBN, the Republic Broadcasting Network.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero, because World War III is a really bad idea. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome to our show today. It's Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. And before we do anything else, John Stadmiller is on the line with some breaking news. So, John, what's going on right now?
This is a serious situation. This has to do with a Donna Nickerson. Her husband's name is Nick Nickerson, involving two properties, one in Idaho and one in Montana. The bankers basically have shut these people down. I've reviewed their paperwork. I've gone to their website. Ithappenedtous.com. This is a sterling family. It is a Christian family. These banks want them out of this house. Well, actually out of both properties. And the situation is right now, they've got sheriff's deputies on the ground in Idaho. They've just cut the locks on the gate, and they're going into the home. The sheriff out there, this is in Clear County, Idaho. The sheriff out there, his name is Chris Getz, and he admitted to the Nickersons that he's operating, after checking with the prosecutor in his county. He told him, he said, you guys are operating on an expired writ. That didn't make any difference to them. The sheriff has been somewhat helpful to this family, telling them the information that they needed to know, and they acted accordingly. But this doesn't seem to matter. They're pushing this guy beyond his capacity to operate legally as a county sheriff. But like I said, Mike, he's been somewhat helpful. I did call the governor's office, Governor Brad Little. I spoke to his secretary. I was told I can't speak directly to the governor or his senior advisor, one Andrew Mitzel, because they're all in a meeting. Well, I made a subsequent call back to them, and she apprised me that they are aware and monitoring the situation. And I said, I don't know what there is to monitor. The guys are on the ground, and I'm getting reports from the Nickersons that they actually have snipers out there on the property right now. So this is a situation. I was on the phone with Donna Nickerson about 10, 15 minutes ago, Mike, and I was talking with her, and then there was a bunch of noise that happened, and I was able to hear that they're going in the property right now, and there was a little bit of panic, and the line went dead. I do not know what's going on here, but here's the hook, Mike. Hey, you're aware of what Chase Bank did to me?
Yes.
I don't know if you were... Okay, they debanked me. Okay. Well, Chase Bank admitted to them, an employee of Chase Bank admitted to them, Mike. Now get this. We know who you are. We don't like you people, and we want you gone. That's a direct quote.
Okay.
So this is a banker's war on people that are trying to stand, well, their ground. Make their case clear that this is a constitutional republic and we do have due process, but that doesn't matter to these bankster gangsters, as you've coined the phrase. They're acting in directly against the American people. Mike, I don't know any other way to put this.
Well, they're certainly acting in a very arrogant manner, and they seem to have forgotten that, banking is supposed to be a business. It's not supposed to be the ruling class.
No, it is certainly not. And these people, I've reviewed their paperwork. If people go to that website, It Happened to Us, just spell it out, ithappenedtous.com, they'll be able to see all the legal wranglings. They have documented everything. These people on the up and up, they're in no arrears and any payments whatsoever. This is just a shutdown of an account they didn't want around and the people that were connected to that account.
Well, I've already linked to that website from my website, so people can go to the top of whatreallyhappened.com and find out the information. What is it specifically about the Nickersons that they were saying that the bankers got all upset with?
Well, the only statement that they got, they had requested records. They were stalled. Now, this is they were asking for an accounting because they were up to the penny on any payments owed to the bank on either properties. These are some fairly smart people, Mike. These aren't some backcountry yahoos here. These are serious people, good Christian family. They abide by the law, and that's their credo. This is the standard of which that this is the standard that they fly. And this is just a matter of bank confiscation because the bank, that being Chase, does not like the clients they're dealing with. They have no legal reason to do this, in other words, none whatsoever. And I'd like to have your permission here. I'm going to try to get a hold of either Nick or Donna Nickerson again. Things are happening pretty fast out there, but if I can, I'd like to invite them to call into your show with any updates, if that would be okay with you.
Absolutely.
All righty. Mike, I thank you for your time. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for the update, and we'll keep our ears open. And again, I've already put up a link at whatreallyhappened.com that'll take you to their website. It sounds to me like these are people who are up to date on all their payments on their properties, and the bank just decided they don't like them, either for their politics or their beliefs, but that is way, way beyond what banks are supposed to be able to do. All right, so welcome to our show again. It's Tuesday, November 12th, 2019, and the phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. Mike is in our control room, ready to answer the phone, put you in the air with your comments, questions, and observations. And a quick shout out to all of our on-air affiliates who are just now rejoining the network. So, it's cold today. The snow started falling last night. The wind chill went down to -1, and it's just very cold. Cold weather records are being shattered all across the country. And Al Gore is still out there promoting his global warming workshop. It's like, pay no attention to what's going on outside the window. Just believe as you're told to believe. One of the things you need to be careful of, yes, winter has arrived early, and a lot of people are getting out their snowmobiles. And they seem to forget there's actually a snowmobile season where you're not allowed to use your snowmobiles until the hunting season for big game, meaning bear and deer, ends, which is in December. So apparently, a lot of people are very upset in upstate New York that the snowmobiles are already out there, scaring off the game and behaving badly. All righty, over in Syria, the U.S. is ramping up their firepower to match Syria and Russia. And the U.S. general says redeployment to East Syria requires more power. So much for we're bringing the troops home. They're escalating. Major General Eric Hill is saying, it's time for more armor to be sent in, more troops to be sent in. They're not going to let go. They can't let go of Syria because it would look like a defeat. So how many more of our kids are going to be killed and crippled just so that the Pentagon can save face? Because that's really what it comes on down to. I mean, they've already wrecked the place. They're already in control of the oil. This is all about saving grace, or saving face, rather. Now, Erdogan has begun deporting ISIS captives to Europe, which he threatened to do as relations with the West continue to deteriorate. So you poor Europeans, you're going to have a whole new bunch of ISIS terrorists moving in next door. Apparently, a series of 16 audios in which opposition leaders in Bolivia called for a coup against Morales have been leaked out on social media and shows that this whole thing was really orchestrated from the beginning. And This destabilizing operation sends Bolivia into political crisis, which is chaos, which is probably going to manifest as crisis in the streets. We're going to see more rioting. Interesting little article here. This is from popularresistance.org. Will the people of Bolivia reverse the U.S.-supported coup against Evo Morales? Now, this happened with Hugo Chavez when he got kicked out. And the people turned around and said, no, we're putting him back in. And he got back in. Obviously, the ordinary people of Bolivia do not like this idea that Evo Morales, who they just voted back into office, is getting kicked out. So they're out there on social media, and they're saying, this could get really, really ugly. It could result in yet another so-called civil war, which is U.S. speak for we're going to invade and take over the place. By the way, why Bolivia? What's going on in Bolivia? Turns out Bolivia has a lot of rare earth elements. That's the new thing the U.S. is invading countries over. Used to be oil, still oil, but it's those rare earth elements that the U.S. covets. Over in Haiti, thousands of Haitians are on the verge of famine. And the World Food Program is saying 1/3 of the people are in dire need of assistance. So, whole planet's just in serious, serious trouble here. Okay, well, apparently former U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton was on BBC and is talking about an investigation which alleges Russian influence in British politics. Her thing following her loss in 2016 was, oh, the Russians interfered with U.S. elections. The Russians are interfering. No proof of that, of course. But now she's out there trying to stir up trouble, saying that Russia is meddling in the British elections. Actually, it's Hillary who's doing the meddling, if you think about it. Netflix just came out with a new World War II documentary, and the Prime Minister of Poland has come out slamming it, saying that it's nothing short of rewriting history. Well, that's what American media does. They rewrite the history to make the U.S. look better and everybody else look worse. And apparently, Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki condemned Netflix for all the inaccuracies in this documentary it debuted about World War II. And apparently he sent a letter to Netflix CEO Reed Hastings accusing the firm, the devil next door, of obfuscating historical facts, including showcasing maps that falsely placed several German Nazi concentration camps within modern-day Poland's borders. Well, who cares if it's accurate or not? It makes Israel happy, and that's all that really matters in the media. Okay, this story started earlier today. Israel assassinated a senior Islamic Jihad leader. Gaza responded by firing dozens of rockets into Israel, and every time they repeat this story, the number of rockets goes up. Last report I saw was 200 rockets. One of them supposedly actually hit a highway and interfered with traffic. Now, Netanyahu is saying Israel does not need to escalate tensions. We just felt like, killing this guy. And it's 42-year-old Baha Abu al-Ada, the group's commander in the northern Gaza Strip, and his wife, Asma'a, 39. They attacked the house and killed them both. Netanyahu's out there saying, you people are overreacting. What's wrong with you? Okay, the European Union's top court has ruled in favor that produce made in Israel's settlements must be labeled as such. Of course, Israel's going to be upset with that because a lot of people are not going to want to buy produce that was produced on stolen Palestinian land. I certainly won't. So they've been fighting this tooth and crime and saying, forcing them to label their products from the illegal settlements as coming from the illegal settlements. It's anti-Semitism, do you hear? It's Jew hatred. Truth in advertising. If it's from the West Bank, say it's from the West Bank. All righty. Sergei Lavrov is out there basically talking about how Russia and China are moving closer together, and they're now very close to a de facto military alliance. Now that is going to be significant because maybe the United States could take on Russia in a conventional war. Maybe the United States could take on China in a conventional war. No way they could take them both on, not at the same time. So I think Russia and China are trying to send a message to the United States that this warmongering has gone on long enough. Okay, at the end of World War II, there was a U.S. submarine that vanished off the coast of Japan, the USS Grayback, and using high-tech robotic drones, they found the wreckage 75 years after it disappeared. It's down 1,400 feet. Now they know its final resting place. Okay, there's an article here that's talking about this movement to impeach Donald Trump and say, what the heck is going on here? What's the reason for all of this? I mean, we're seeing indications, first of all, that the House doesn't really have a case. And if it goes to the Senate, they're not going to remove him. So why waste all this time and money? And this article is suggesting that this is really all about who's in control of the Democratic Party. And that's why Adam Schiff and Pelosi won't back down. They see themselves as the leaders of the Democratic Party, and by golly, we're going to move forward with impeachment, no matter how silly it makes us look. All right, here's an interesting little development. Adam Schiff is now saying the whistleblower will not testify. That he, Adam Schiff, will personally shield Joe and Hunter Biden from the investigation. Might as well go ahead and wear a neon sign that says guilty on that one. Meanwhile, Lindsey Graham is saying that the impeachment is dead on arrival if the whistleblower doesn't testify. This is going to blow up in the Democrats' face. It already is. All right, over at Politico. Oh, wait a minute. We have a caller on the line. Joe in Tennessee. Aloha. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. Yeah, all these hearings seem to blow up in the Democrats' face. So I'm looking forward to watching this hearing because it will. I mean, there's something about the Trump magic and the fact that they have no case. I mean, they have no facts or truth on their side. And it's really good for guys on the alt-right because it's really going to expose the deep state, which people have said for years and told us didn't even exist.
Yeah.
So now even the ostriches is out there are going to have to realize that we're really not ruled by our politicians, that this is the big game. This is going to, it actually surprises me that they are so bold because I guess they realize their days might be numbered with the FISA and the Department of Justice because for them to like reveal themselves to this level and to this amount of people is very surprising because these people are supposed to act stealthily. You know, they're supposed to be behind the scenes. I mean, that's the whole point of them, you know, to be hidden, the hidden government.
Yes.
And to have them come out like this is actually a blessing in a way. Hopefully they'll come out and all get mowed down. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean. And by the truth, let's just put it that way. And I'm just really happy. I got an email from a friend of mine who's like, you know, we all ought to oil up our guns and get prepared to march on Washington, you know. And I sent him one back. And I said, well, march on Washington, we ought to march on Langley. That's where our real government is, you know. And I thought that basically that's what they're showing by their actions. And, you know, it's really interesting to me, like how many people, you know, in the Congress now and in the media are really bought and paid for by the intelligence services. I mean, really, I'm hoping that when this backfire happens, which I doubt the Republicans would run with the ball, but when the mainstream media collapses and the deep state collapses, hopefully there'll be some serious investigations into how the media was bought by the intelligence agencies, because they'll admit the fact that the German media is pretty much owned and run by the intelligence agencies, and
Yes.
the Israeli media. They'll admit everything except ours. Like somehow or another, it never made it across the Atlantic Ocean to us. But what you're seeing in big, bold type, ladies and gentlemen, is the exposure of the fact that the United States is not run by our politicians. It is being run by a deep state cabal of unelected bureaucrats and intelligence officers. And they are exposing themselves, and hopefully they're in the process of destroying themselves. And I wanted to also bring up that the right really has to take a page from the left. I mean, the left gets out in the street, say what you want about Antifa. They're out there and they're smashing heads. They understand that.
I don't recommend that. Joe, listen, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off here. We've got Donna Nickerson on the line right now, and I'd like to get an update. Donna, what's going on?
Yes, sir. We're in Orofino, Idaho, Clearwater County, Orofino, Idaho, and right now our property, we have got 6. My understanding is there's 6 police cars blocking our driveway. I cannot see them, but friends have. There are also people in the bushes. Guns are drawn. They just entered our house. They kicked in a window. We have family that is inside the house that we're trying to get down to, but we're trying to get some people up here first. But at any rate, they have got, they've kicked in the front window. They came in. There were men with 4 assault rifles. 4 men with assault rifles. And we were on the phone with our family saying, stop, please. While we are trying to do here, we have an appeal in process. We have talked to Sheriff Chris Getz, Clearwater County. His number is 208-476-4521 is the one that has ordered this to go through. And Governor Brad Little is the governor here for the Idaho Ranch. We've extended the long arm of friendship. The sheriff had told us the last we heard, the eviction had been stopped. Apparently they got another writ. That writ has now actually even expired. We were never served with it. So they have kicked in our house and done all of this without ever serving us or telling us that there was even an eviction back in place. Again, the sheriff told us that. He also told us that he had asked the bank, what do we need to stop this? And the bank refused. They said the Nickersons cannot buy the property. They would not, even allow us to save our ranch. And so we're hurt. He had told us he would not pull any tricks. He lured us down to the sheriff's office earlier, just said he just wanted to kind of have this quick meeting for an update. And then while we were there, he said, I'm sorry, but we've taken control of your property. We came back up here and, to try to get back here. There are sheriffs and state police here. We have, we've done everything we know to do. Our website is ithappenedus.com. The key is that we did nothing wrong. Not only that, but even if we had done anything wrong, the property was sold with an expired writ. It referenced a voided judgment, so this bank does not even own our property. Everybody knows it. They just won't do anything about it. That's why the appeal was in place. We went out to Washington, D.C. We personally, as a family, went to 535 of our representatives and senators. We've told our story. A lot of people know the story, but everybody's given us the same thing that the governor and the Attorney General's office here in Idaho are telling us this morning, which is we're monitoring the situation. I don't know what else we've got to do. They just kicked in our front door. And if we were down there, obviously we would have been able to defend it better. We were getting ready to go down. I'm sitting here looking at our property from the top of a hill. But we had a bunch of people that were trying to be with us when we went down. We're trying to make sure we have plenty of video footage. But all we're asking your listeners is if they do kill us on this thing, please don't let us die in vain. We have a field out here. Our hay field has over, you can actually park a bus in the eye of the words, "In God We Trust," that we carved out in our hayfield with steel weed eaters, actually. And there's a USA flag, that's over 40 feet in length and made with river rocks. And so y'all can, people can do flybys or whatever. We're not, we're anti-corruption. We're not anti-government. We love our country. Right now, they did this today with an American flag flying in the front yard. And they have, we're not trying to cause any problems. This is not a money issue. It is not an equity issue. It is not a tax issue. It is not a, government issue. It is nothing like that. It is simply J.P. Morgan Chase, these banks They told us that they hated us, people like us. They were going to throw us out in the street, and the only reason they ever gave us was because we were Christians. And again, we did nothing wrong. We have been trying. We believe, we believe in the system, but the system has to have good people in it for it to work. And somehow or another, that's not happening for us right now. There was an appeal in place. We asked for an injunction. We asked the sheriff personally, please stop, don't do this. We called the Supreme Court a little while ago. They told us they wouldn't do anything unless we faxed a request to them, and we said, we've got police behind us, we've got police in front of us. Can you at least tell them to let us get down to our property so that we can send you something and to try to get a stay on this? And but nobody, like I said, nobody's willing to do anything. We've been told by the county prosecutor down there at Claim, Tyler, that they will not go against the banks. They won't go against big banks. It doesn't matter what we give them, what evidence, what's right, what's wrong. All the county commissioners know our story. Everybody knows that. Everybody, keeps saying we want to help, but we need to know who in this country can help, because right now my property just got invaded, and with people that had no authority to do that. Even they acted out without the authority that's even in their law enforcement authority, and so. We're looking for help. We need people. Like I said, we're getting ready to drive down. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if it's their intention to arrest us, shoot us. We just don't know. But they have taken property, seized our property. We have stuff that's in there. And we are actually, there's a car coming down the driveway now. We believe they have some of our family members in it, so we're about to block the road here. I'm sorry. I hope that was a good summary for you.
Well, it does sound like a dire situation here. I'm just having a real hard time trying to find what initiated this entire sequence of events here. And you're saying that J.P. Morgan Chase just decided to kick you off your land because they don't like Christians.
Yes, sir. That's the only, I'm sure that there's greed, power, and all of that involved too, but the only thing that they ever told us was because they hated us, people like us, and they were going to throw us and our family out on the street. That's all they ever told us. And this was, like I said, it was never a money issue. And even the fact the sheriff just recently asked, what do we need to do to get this thing resolved? And they said, Nickersons are not buying the property. They cannot have it. But we shouldn't need to at this point, because again, the sale that was held with an expired writ. It referenced avoided judgment. It did not occur. It doesn't matter what they did down in the record. It's illegal. It's unlawful. It's not binding. And so there's a lot of documentation. We have more. We're happy to share with people. We don't know. We were told to sign the ranch over. They would go after everything they own. They have stalked us. There's way too much to tell you in just a couple of minutes what all we've been through. But all we've tried to do is extend the long arm of friendship and to have a belief in the system, that at some point we would get our day in court. There has been no day in court. There's been no due process. This is religious persecution, and it is property rights. They're property rights. So, I'm so sorry. Do you have any other questions for me? We're going to move into a position here.
Well, no questions, but John Stadmiller wants to come back on the line here. And so, John, what have you got to add?
Thanks, Mike. Donna, I just want to extend the invitation. I know things are kind of tense out there right now, but that very same number that I gave you to the network, the non-800 number, keep that with you. I go on air. Mike is on air for the next 2.5 hours. I'll be following him. And you're more than welcome to call into my program to give us an update on what's going on out there.
Okay, yes, sir. I'm assuming they're about to either arrest us or shoot us. We don't know which, but we're on our way down to block it. So God bless you guys, folks. It had www.ithappenedus.com. We'll kind of tell the story. We're very sorry. We've never tried to cause any kind of problem or be rebellious. My goodness, I'm about to become a criminal, and I've never even had a speeding ticket. And, it's just very, very heartbreaking. But too many people gave their lives so that all of us could have property rights and religious freedom and due process. And, on the religious freedom, we're Christians, but it doesn't matter to us if it believes or doesn't believe. The point is, in America, you have the right to choose that. And,
Donna, are they going to allow you to your family to reunite? What's the status with your family in the house?
we have no idea yet. That's like I said, we've been up here on the top. The phone went dead, and y'all called. And so I just tried to take your call real quick because we need as many people as we can praying, and we need as many people as we can to come to Orfino, Idaho. Basically, what we wanted was just to line this road with people. But, again, he told us we had waited. We've been, just trying to kind of we thought it was just a calm time. The sheriff lied to us. He told, I guess at the time, he told me the truth. He said that the eviction had been stopped, but that he would let us know if anything changed. And he did lie to us because he did not let us know until after he took possession of our property today what he was going to do.
Donna, at this point in time, the only thing I can tell you is keep us apprised, keep that cell phone charged, and keep it open as much as you can. And contact the media. Stay in contact with us, and we will give this to the people blow by blow. We're hoping for a peaceful resolve. We're hoping the governor out there gets involved and de-escalates this.
We are too, sir, and just pray because a lot of our battle stuff and everything like that obviously is inside this home right now, and because we were working on trying to put together an appeal and stuff like that. So there's no telling what's going on inside there. So we really
all right, Donna, I'll be standing by. Mike, I appreciate you lending the airwaves here, and any further information I'll give you, or I'll give an update on my program. Mr. Rivero, I'm out.
Okay, well, thank you very much for spending time with us. And, Donna, I just hope this resolves peacefully. And again, if there's an important update, call back in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, too. Okay. All right. The phone lines are still open, 800-313-9443. And I still don't really have a clear picture of how they got to this stage. And the idea that JP Morgan Chase would just say, we hate you because you're Christian, we're going to kick you off your land. There's got to be a lawyer out there who's going to go into court and say, look, the eviction laws don't cover, you don't like their religion. In fact, to me, this is a violation of the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment. Anyway, we're going to go to the phones here. Jason in Grand Rapids, aloha. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike, this is Jason. I was calling because I came across some interesting articles online about Israeli arms sales to China.
Yes.
And some of these articles are sort of old, so maybe lots of people have heard about them already, but I was amazed to see it because I had never heard about anything like this before in the news. But so for example, there's this article here in the New York Times from 1993 that says Israel sells arms to China, U.S. says. That's a quote, that's the title. And then there's another article here in The Guardian that says U.S. acts over Israeli arms sales to China. And then another one, that was from 2005. And then another one here, it says, this one is in a newspaper called Haaretz. It says, Israel signs $400 million deal to sell spy drones to Russia. And that one is from 2010. And then one last one that's like the latest one is in military.com. It says, report Israel passes U.S. military technology to China. That's from 2013.
Yes.
And so I guess the question that I want to ask you based on this, why is it in the U.S. national interest to be providing any sort of foreign aid or military assistance, military technology to Israel if they have this history of selling it to nations that are regarded as geopolitical adversaries of the United States?
Well, that's a very good question. A lot of people have asked it, and there doesn't seem to really be any kind of a good answer other than that Israel has compromised a sufficient number of our politicians where the practice continues. And you're right, that is the sticking point. It's also why the corporate media won't cover the story, is that Israel will take all these weapons that we send them, they'll reverse engineer them, then they'll turn around and sell the technology to countries that may not really be on the best of terms with the United States government.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just amazed because, like, I feel like I watch a lot of the news, and like I've never seen this on any of the big cable news channels. They all just you know say a lot. Oh, Israel has a right to defend itself, etc. They never talk about how a lot of the damage that Israel does to the national security interests of the United States.
Yes.
That's all I have to say, really, I guess.
All right. Well, Israel doesn't really defend itself. They're constantly attacking, whether it's Syria or Lebanon or Gaza, and apparently they're really uncorking on Gaza right now. Anyway, getting on back to our domestic politics, Politico is claiming that there is no evidence that Ukraine colluded with the Clinton campaign and the DNC in 2016, dismissing their own earlier reporting on that issue. So Politico is apparently climbing on board the Clinton machine. Now, Tulsi Gabbard's attorneys are accusing Hillary Clinton of defamation, and they're demanding that she retract the claim that Tulsi is the favorite of the Russians and being groomed to be a spoiler in the Democratic candidate race. See what happens there. But that's Hillary's excuse for everything. Oh, the Russians did it. The Russians cheated me. The Russians are the reason I'm not the president. No, Hillary, it's because we, the voters, don't like you. Apparently, Christopher Steele, following on his worldwide success with the P dossier, is now out there with a new claim that the Russians have been cultivating the Tories and Boris Johnson for 5 years. Anyway, Sarah Carter is out there saying that Michael Horowitz's report on the visa abuse will be damning, expected to contain several criminal referrals. Okay, where is it? I don't know about you, but I am sick and tired of all these stories about it. It's coming. The FISA report is coming. The IG report is coming. All of this stuff, it's on its way. Don't revolt. Just stay calm, stay in your homes. It's coming. Lone Ranger's coming over the hill. Batman is in his Batmobile. Superman is putting on his cape. There's nothing for you, the American people, to have to do. The country will be saved. I don't think so. Yesterday, you probably saw a story where the liberal media claimed Vindman was fired from the National Security Council. They immediately attacked Trump for that. Turns out the story was more fake news. Vindman is still on the NSC. He's expected to finish out his term, which ends July of next year. And it's just nothing but garbage out there in the corporate media. Now, former President Jimmy Carter, who's 95 years old, he's been hospitalized in Atlanta for surgery to relieve pressure on his brain after a series of recent falls. So he is 95 and he's fragile, and we wish him the best. Now, I think it was only yesterday somebody got on the phone and was asking this about the Jeff Epstein case. Did anybody actually do a DNA test on the corpse to confirm it was Jeff Epstein? And today we're getting the word from the medical examiner saying, in point of fact, no, there was no DNA test conducted to confirm that the body on the gurney was actually that of Jeff Epstein. All right, let's talk about the economic news here. And now it is the elite that are prepping for the collapse of society, grabbing all the cash they can to themselves, trying to figure out a way to prevent you from accessing your own money, so they've got it to play with. It's in their banks and brokerages. They can use it to try and save themselves at your expense. Apparently, Greece and China have signed 16 Belt and Road deals, leading to the opening of this new superhighway. And of course, the United States is not happy about that because we can't compete. We absolutely cannot compete. And Beijing is planning on significantly boosting Chinese investment in Greece, which could lay the groundwork for the new superhighway of trade between Europe and China. See, China's out there making deals while the U.S. is out there trying to make wars. And again, with the early arrival of winter, harvests have come to a halt here in the United States of America. Officials are now starting to use the word disaster to describe the widespread crop failures happening all over America, and you'd better be paying attention. Corporate media is not going to report on this. Politicians don't want you thinking bad thoughts about how this country is being run by the government. I want you realizing that all this talk about human-caused global warming was a big, fat lie that has led to an epic disaster in agriculture. Over in Ohio, over 100 dams are classified as high hazard, meaning they're at risk of collapse. And by the way, the Ohio River is just over that way. Now, the New York Times has come on out and acknowledged a tidal wave of mass immigration is what handed Virginia to the Democrats this last election. This is coming from the New York Times, saying this tidal wave of immigration has tilted the field toward the Democrats in the state of Virginia. And I predicted this was going to happen. And Trump had 3.5 years to do something about it, and he didn't. Over in Turin, Italy, there's a homeless migrant, Spain, deliberately set fire to a UNESCO-listed historic royal riding stable in Turin. Just decided he was going to burn it up. And he was caught on camera, deliberately setting fire to the place, just burning it to the ground. So how's that multiculturalism thing working out for you there, Europe? Now, a little bit of good news. It looks like the Supreme Court is ready to uphold Trump's bid to end DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Trump wants to shut that down, and he should. There is a legal process by which you can come into this country and become a citizen. You can't just walk across the border and say, ooh, I'm a DACA, I'm a dreamer, let me in. And that's another area where I'm very disappointed in Donald Trump. Frankly, I don't care who runs or wins next year's election as long as it's not Hillary Clinton. Oh, and hang on, there was this GOP candidate that dropped out of the race today, Mark Sanford. So Trump doesn't have to worry about him anymore. The Supreme Court has also allowed the Sandy Hook shooting lawsuit to go forward. And they're talking about suing the Remington Arms Company over the fact that they make the AR-15. And that was used at Sandy Hook. Actually, it wasn't. It was locked in the trunk of a car. And Remington Arms have come back saying there's a 2005 federal law preventing most lawsuits against firearms manufacturers when the products are used in crimes. Now, this actually makes a lot of sense, because if this lawsuit goes forward and Remington is sued over some kid with his brain melted on prescription medication shooting up a bunch of people, then people are going to start suing car makers for drunk drivers. I mean, there'll be no stopping this. we'll just tear ourselves up with this whole thing. Apparently, over at the University of Virginia yesterday, they canceled their 21 gun salute for Veterans Day because they were concerned that it might panic the population. One of the relatives of the Utah family killed by the cartel in Mexico went on CNN and says, "Fight for your guns." Now, you're really going to love this one. You know, these alcohol-level breathalyzers, all the cop cars have them. And a lot of people have been arrested and sent to jail on the basis of the readouts from these devices. But a study has shown if they are not calibrated properly, the results may be up to 40% higher than they should be, meaning a lot of people have gotten arrested and fined for no reason whatsoever. We see a lot of the same problems with the speed radar cameras, red light cameras. They're not properly calibrated, and they generate false positives, which generates money for the police departments. Anyway. Okay, Noel Ignatiev. This is the scholar who called for abolishing whiteness. He's just passed away. He was 78 years old. And basically, this was the guy who was leading the hue and cry, saying that whiteness is not genetic, that it is, in fact, a social construct that needs to be dispensed with. Well, it looks like the world dispensed with him instead here. Still getting a follow-up on the 17-year-old girl from Manitoba, Canada, was suspended from her high school for objecting to wear a rainbow-colored LGBTQP poppy brooch, Veterans Day. And she issued a statement as to why she felt she wanted to wear the traditional poppy, which is red with a black center, like the real poppies are. And she got punished for it. She got kicked out of school. And so basically the message being sent saying it is now mandatory for you to wear these LGBTQ symbols or you're going to be in big trouble. Well, I don't want to wear an LGBTQ symbol. Might lead to a misunderstanding. I mean, if the LGBTQ people want to wear an LGBTQ poppy, that's fine. That's protected by the First Amendment. But if somebody doesn't want to wear those, that is also their choice, protected by the First Amendment. Okay, over at Mattel, they're trying to take Barbie, gender neutral, and they still can't make the transgender people happy. Apparently, an op-ed in Slate magazine says that Mattel has not gone far enough in deconstructing the gender binary. Making those people happy. Apparently, over at Amazon, they're now selling a gender-neutral gingerbread man for the holidays. Actually, it looks just like any other gingerbread man you've ever seen, because gingerbread men or women or whatever you want to call them don't have anything to identify their gender. But Amazon's thrown a new label on this, said it's our gender-neutral gingerbread man. They charge an extra bunch of bucks for it. Apparently, there's another LGBT group is demanding 20% of all television characters be LGBT by 2025. Well, you can demand it. Hollywood will probably cave in on it. Doesn't mean people are going to watch it. What are you going to do? Have a Vogon appreciation chair, installed in every single home and say, you will strap yourself in and you will watch these people. Not going to happen. Yesterday, we had this story out there that YouTube was going to cancel accounts that don't generate revenue, and apparently YouTube has come on out saying, well, the terms of service have been misread. And basically saying that this only applies towards Google services and not user accounts. So they're going to leave Claire's music videos in place, I guess. Over in the world of Apple, iOS 13.2.2 causes battery havoc. This was Apple's latest fix for a bug that broke multitasking. But apparently it's introduced a new problem that severely limits productivity when on the move. I think this is another classic case of you let go the well-paid legacy engineers who designed the original hardware and know what's inside, know what works, and you get some real cheap people to come on in to try and take it forward. They don't understand the internal workings, and that's why you're getting all these problems. Same thing happening over at Boeing. All right, Google is in hot water again. They're working on this top secret project with access to millions of Americans' health data, including lab tests and diagnoses. The patients and doctors have not been told. I think this is definitely a violation of the HIPAA laws. In any event, apparently Google tried a voluntary opt-in version of the program. Nobody wanted to opt in. So now they're just going ahead and saying, well, we need the data. We need the data for some commercial products, so we're just going to go out and help ourselves to it, which I think is wrong. Meanwhile, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Facebook are all racing to be the first company to successfully replace smartphones with smart glasses. Now, I remember when Google Glass came on out, and it looked like it was a cool idea, but it didn't really catch on, and now their market is primarily commercial application. And there's music time for commercial break. Join us on the air, 800-313-9443. We'll be right back.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll-free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Talk Right, the conservative app offered by TalkStream Live that caters exclusively to the conservative talk radio community. Here you'll see only talk shows and podcasts from the conservative right, all the big broadcast names and online digital shows in one place. Talk Right makes it easy to find all your favorite conservative talkers with all the upscale features you come to expect from TalkStream Live. Keep up with the fast-paced political world. Download Talk Right today from Google Play or the App Store.
Many people tell us about their experience with Extendivite. Just listen to what Glenn has to say.
Prior to taking it, I had diabetic neuropathy. The Extendivite reduced that significantly. Acid reflux was reduced. I had athlete's foot, very severe. Trimmed that down to about 75%. Dandruff, almost completely gone. I had occipital neuralgia at the base of my skull. I was having migraines, reduced by about 90%. Heart palpitations, my heart would kind of stall out. I would skip a beat. Very uncomfortable. And when walking from downstairs going to sleep, by the time I got to the bedroom, which is just one flight of stairs, my heart was pounding, coming out of my chest. My vision was blurry. This completely solved that problem. Great product. Thanks.
Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite. When all this twisted steel was swept away, did these remaining holes reveal what's really happened? What really happened?
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show here. And I'm over at the Nickerson's website. And as you probably know, RBN has this one sponsor right now that says, you know, the law's on the side of the homeowner. If the mortgage has been handled improperly, it can be vacated. But apparently, as Donna was saying, nobody wants to stand up to the bankers because if the bankers can do it to the Nickersons, they can do it to everybody. And I think part of the problem right now, we may see a lot more of this going on here. And I don't think it has to do with the fact that they're Christian. It has to do with the fact that the banks are short of cash. And all the QE coming out of the Fed is not sufficient to keep them afloat. So now they're going to start grabbing assets and selling them to try and save their own neck, as it were. All righty. Japan's Hayabusa 2 probe has started its year-long journey back to Earth after collecting soil samples from an asteroid, hoping will allow them to shed light on the origins of the solar system. That'll be fascinating to see. And even though we just had this horrible cold snap, and it's still very cold out there, we didn't get as much snow overall as the computers said we would. And a lot of people are now starting to call attention to the fact that these computerized weather forecasting systems are nowhere near as accurate as human meteorologists used to be. And I'm in agreement. And it's basically telling us that if artificial intelligence is supposed to learn as it goes along, how do we know if what we're learning or if what AI is learning is accurate or correct? Computers are running so fast, we really can't tell. It's not like there's a school for AI. There's a robot up at the front of the class with an architect's ruler saying, no, you got it wrong. But I remember out in Hawaii looking at the Weather Channel, which brags that it's using IBM's AI Watson. It was very inaccurate. Now, right here in this part of Indiana, the snowfall was more or less accurate. I'm wondering if that was more luck than actual accuracy in the science. Okay. Dave is saying if AI uses Common Core, we are all screwed. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And maybe that's the reason why we can't find human meteorologists to do the job properly, is because of Common Core, because Common Core moved us away from science. Okay, apparently they've discovered a new megavolcano off the coast of the Philippines. It has the biggest caldera on Earth. So now we're going to have a caldera matching contest, I guess. And we're going to take a break for station identification. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
life with Extendovite. When your doctor tells you you have bad cholesterol or blockages in the arteries, what do? When diet and exercise is not enough, we try medications and hope for the best. For the last 2 decades, I have been telling people about a natural method to help solve these problems and more. Extendovite can help maintain cardiovascular health and lower blood lipid levels in adults. The 7 herbs in Extendovite are known to work together synergistically to get the results we hope for. There are many testimonials on Extendovite's effect on circulatory-related ailments. Get Extendovite today to start your journey back to a healthier life. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or see us on amazon.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, where you'll find out what the Fukushima's going on.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show, hour number 2. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. Let's get some phone calls going here. And we have already talked about the Epstein autopsy bombshell, in which there was, in fact, no DNA test done to confirm that the body on the gurney was actually him. I think Jeff Epstein is still alive. I think he's in Israel or the Caymans or something like that, just enjoying his retirement here. There continues to be some concern over the use of snippets of human DNA in vaccines, DNA that was harvested from Planned Parenthood, and apparently some of it is known to be cancer-producing. Maybe that's why they're so willing to give the flu shots away for free, because they're going to make their money back on the cancer treatments. Okay. Amazon is being accused of even more intrusive surveillance. And, all right, let's see what we got here. Apparently, Vice Media has received $215 million debt investment from George Soros. Apparently, he's bailed them out of the problem they were in and wants Vice to turn itself around. And it looks like the first move is going to be to bring in some new talent who will do what Vice needs to do most: develop new, compelling, on-brand content that gets the media company back into circulation. Vice Media is kind of the corporate media for hipsters. And I've looked at some of their programming. I wasn't particularly impressed. Okay, let's go back to the phones here. Steve in Riverside, California. Aloha. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. I'm not for sure what topic you're on now, but I wanted to talk to you about gun control.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I used to be a merchant seaman, and I went to Sri Lanka, and I met a Swiss engineer there. And my wife and I followed him back to Zurich. We were going there anyway. Had a very nice meal up in his apartment and with his wife. And at the end of the meal, I said, you must be in the Swiss Guard. Where's your gun? So he goes to the closet, pulls out this it was an H&K. It was all metal, heavy as can be. I said, do you have any bullets for it? Oh, yeah, they got 30 rounds. And he said they fired it, I think, 600 meters for test with open sights, which is really pretty good. Anyway, every member in Switzerland, everybody, unless it's been changed, and I don't, maybe some of the listeners might say it has, but every member, if you're a male below 50, you have your gun right in your house.
Yes.
And it's full automatic, the full military gun.
Yep.
And Switzerland has no mass shootings, no problems with that at all.
Nope, they don't.
So, I'm sorry, what?
I said, no, they don't.
No, you don't hear anything about that at all, do you?
Nope.
So, it looks like now they're going to try and crack down on the manufacturing. There's a continual war on assault rifles now. But Switzerland has had this for forever and has no problems with it. So I hope we are still. I hope the Second Amendment keeps on. But we'll see. Huh?
Well, the Second Amendment, the only way they're going to get rid of it would be with a new amendment, and that's going to require the ratification of 3/4 of the states. I don't think they can get it there. I think somebody's going to come along and simply declare by imperial edict, guns are now banned, turn them all in. And I don't think most people are going to do that. Every time there's been a gun buyback, it's been a complete and abject failure. And the problem is right now, most Americans don't trust the government to take care of them. I mean, they couldn't even keep one guy on suicide watch alive in his cell, but they insist that if we turn in our guns, they'll keep us all safe.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, you want the police then to become our babysitters from cradle to grave, and we don't have to depend on your own individual weapons. The other thing, though, there is something in the there's something there that says something about a militia, and everybody's saying, well, they can reinterpret that and say, well, there's no need for a militia, so there's no need for you having a gun, right?
Well, the militia is actually defined in the U.S. Code as being all able-bodied men between the ages of, I think it's 18 and 40. I don't remember the exact ages, but that's the unorganized militia. And yes, government likes to try and change the meaning of words so they can change, what they have to do about those words. But again, I think the part of the Second Amendment we all need to keep in mind is the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Infringed. Right. Slightly different subject, if you got a few more minutes.
Sure.
Okay. You remember Spiro Agnew, Vice President under... Vice President under Nixon. He resigned because of something he'd done as governor. I think it was like a $10,000 bribe he'd taken. He said in his book, which was called Just a Heartbeat Away, and he said on 60 Minutes, he was told by Alexander Haig to resign or he would die in a way that would never be proved. And they asked him on 60 Minutes, did he believe it? And he said, yeah, I did. And then they went to Alexander Haig, which I thought was very interesting, and actually asked him. Of course, he said, ho, ho, ho. So actually, after Spiro resigned, then, of course, we had Nixon resigning. And then we got Ford, and he appoints Rockefeller as vice president. Very interesting name, isn't it?
Yes. Well, see, what was going on there is the Watergate investigation was getting closer and closer to the motive behind the break-in. And the motive behind the break-in was the fact that Democrats had gotten evidence linking Nixon's people to the Kennedy assassination. So Nixon knew he was going to have to step down. And he knew he couldn't trust Spiro Agnew to keep a lid on it. So they forced Spiro Agnew out, and they brought in Gerald Ford, who had sat on the Warren Commission and could be counted on to keep the deep, dark secret.
Well, what's interesting after that is after he pardoned Nixon and then he went in, there were two assassination attempts against him. One was by a Squeaky Fromm, who was a Matson follower, and she didn't, hardly a professional assassin because she didn't know to chamber the first bullet in the 45, but she was within touching distance of him, and that's the only thing that saved him. Then the second one was a woman that I've never heard much more about named Martha something, and as she stuck her gun out to get a bead on Ford, ex-Marine knocked the gun away, and that's what saved him the second time. So Ford was somehow, Rockefeller never got to be president, And Ford spent the rest of his time, I'm sure, with a bulletproof vest on, probably trembling a little as he made speeches or was in crowds.
Yes.
But I thought maybe the same thing might be coming up with our President Trump. If they can get rid of Trump, then they've got to get rid of Pence. And then from there, it would go to Pelosi. Well, I don't know. As you said, don't think she was going to resign. But she could appoint Hillary as vice president, I think, couldn't she?
Yeah, that would be like painting a bullseye on her own forehead. First of all, if Trump is removed from office or if he's assassinated, Pence becomes president. At that point, the search begins for a new vice president. It doesn't automatically fall to Nancy Pelosi.
Okay. Yeah. Well, something's going on, and I think you agree on that. I don't know exactly what it is, but of course we're getting snippets of it that what is going on?
Yes.
They obviously want to get rid of Trump, which as you said, I can't figure out why. He's doing everything they want him to do.
Yeah.
But the Democrats should think about putting together some candidate that the American people would buy. Hillary's not one of them.
No,
that's for sure, isn't it? Okay, Mike, I'll scoot on out of here. I've been listening for a long time, and the first time I've called in, and I find your show very interesting. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to do a shout out now to our on-air affiliates who are just now rejoining the network. And we're going to go back to the phones to Bruce in Texas. Bruce, aloha. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, aloha, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
How you liking Indiana so far?
Well, I'm not liking the cold. I'll be honest about that.
Yeah. I bet you missed the beach, that's for sure.
Yes, I
Christmas
am.
time, though. It'll be a magical Christmas, though. Try to move in that direction. I came into the show and I heard something about Donna and a standoff. Can you provide any more information on that? Location or anything?
Well,
any
basically,
details?
as I understand it, it's up in Idaho, and it involves two properties that the bank just decided to seize. And even though the legality under which they've seized the property does not seem to be there, nobody wants to stand up to the banks. And as near as I can tell, the Nickersons feel they're being persecuted because they're Christians. But as near as I can tell, this is a case of, the bank is short of cash, so they're just going to grab somebody's property and sell it to improve their cash position. And this is not the first time we've seen this happening.
You say it's Nickerson?
Yes.
The last name?
Yeah, Nickersons. And they have a website, it could happen to you. And I've already linked to it from whatreallyhappened.com.
Oh, I didn't know it was on your site there. I'm sorry. It could happen to you. It could happen to you.com?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because something like this, I want to get all, don't want this to fall through the cracks, and so I was just interested in finding out some more information.
Well, Donna may call back into my show before the end of the show. She's probably going to call into John Stadmiller's show. Okay,
all right,
I misspoke. The website is ithappenedtous.com.
What happened to us? Okay, yeah. I got it. All right, thank you.
All right, well, we're going to let you go and switch over to Mark in Florida. Aloha, Mark. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Thanks for letting me in, Mike, and I'm glad you didn't get overwhelmed with snow. You were talking about the vaccines and the DNA.
Yes.
And I look at that as a violation of your right of association or your right to, assemble, where, like, if I want to associate with you, it's our choice together. And you could say go away or not. With the vaccination, if they're putting your DNA, so to speak, into a vaccine and not telling me, they're actually forcing me to associate with you without my knowledge, or whatever other DNA they're putting into a vaccine. And I believe it's a violation of the First Amendment, right to assemble or right not to assemble. And if they're forcing vaccines on people, they're denying them their right not to assemble, I believe.
Well, I think the primary issue, though, is whether we have a right to decide what goes in our bodies and what does not. And increasingly, we find ourselves in the grip of corporations and government that say, you will buy these shots and stick them into your kid's arm, you will eat GMO, you will love these chemicals in your food, and you're really not allowed to have a choice about that anymore.
Right, and that also attaches to assembly or association. They're forcing us to associate with some manufacturer's contraption without, if they're forcing vaccinations or requiring them for anything, say denial of your right not to associate. And you got to stick to their laws and their rules.
I'll give you a prediction here. As the current food crisis intensifies, government is going to back off all regulatory controls on what can be added to food. And they'll be putting anything they can in there, to just bulk it up and make it look like you're actually getting adequate food for the money you spend. And you won't be. I mean, there are already ground beef products out there that contain wood pulp.
Yes. Yeah, but that's the thing. Without being fully informed and the right to or not to associate with any of those contraptions or chemicals or whatever it is, we're just being denied every right you have to your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's the point I want to make.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I think the primary issue is, who owns your body? And certainly when I was growing up, the conventional wisdom is you own your body. It belongs to you, and you will make the decisions about, what happens to it. These days, government's attitude is, no, we own you. You're just livestock. You're not people. You don't deserve any respect. You don't deserve the Bill of Rights. You're a herd.
Yeah, and it's too bad. Thank you, Mike.
All right, we're going to switch over to Laura in Michigan. Aloha, Laura. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. I just wanted to tell you real quickly, you're talking about Planned Parenthood and how,
yes.
I had a Consumers Report a couple of years ago. Consumers Report has the reliability of different products. Well, my Consumers Report had the reliability of condoms. And guess which one came in last? The free ones they give to kids, the condoms that Planned Parenthood gives to kids for free, because they know they're gonna break or whatever and not work, and so they get customers for abortions. Yeah, nice little thing going there. Just like the companies want to vaccinate, and they know people get cancer, and they get more and more customers.
Boy, what a cynical world we live in.
Not just cynical, it's true. But their condom came in last.
Just because it's cynical doesn't mean it isn't true.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, we're in a situation right now. I mean, if you watch those pharmaceutical commercials on TV, at the very end, there's that very fast-talking individual who says, if you use this, it could lead to this, lead to that. You wind up where you get on one of these prescription medications and you get these adverse reactions. What do? Take you off the medication? No, they give you more prescription medicines to deal with the side effects from the first one. And that's why so many people, once they get on that treadmill of prescription medications, they've got like a dozen in their medicine chest, and it's ridiculous. Now,
I can attest to that. Doctor gave me Fosamax, supposed to be for your bones.
Yes.
It ended up putting me in intensive care for 3 days. It gave me a bleeding ulcer. So anybody who's on Fosamax, be careful, because that's really a nasty drug. I found that out the hard way.
Yeah, well, my wife is on that right now, so I will definitely forward your warning to her.
Yeah, because I have bleeding ulcer. I never had an ulcer before, never had any stomach problems at all. And that Fosamax, bam, did me in. I'd have my blood's so much in my stomach, I'd have 2 units of blood given to me.
Yeah. That is
I'm glad
really
I closed
very,
it since
very
I didn't
bad.
know Claire was on there.
Yep.
I'm really glad. Also, I got one other little thing for people. If people call you anti-Semitic, here's what I say. No, I'm pro-Jesus. That stops them. That's
Well,
just a little
generally,
hint of something
when somebody says I'm anti-Semitic, I'll say I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm anti-jerk. I'm anti-oppression.
Okay.
And that will generally silence them as well. Anyway, listen, Laura, got to let you go. Got to take a break for commercials. Got another caller waiting on the line, and we will be right back.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com. Or to speak with a trained consultant. Give Angioprim a call at 954-882-7221. That's 954-882-7221.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge $20, $30, $40, $50, if possible, $100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show. And we got an email responding to the caller about the gun situation in Switzerland, saying, unfortunately, they found a way to fix the gun situation recently. The EU tyranny forced stricter laws on us. essentially stop it or visa-free travel is gone, something the tourism-heavy region didn't like at all. So keeping the guns at home is now optional for active members of the military, but even they aren't allowed to keep any ammunition with the guns. Fortunately, the ammunition depot is still under the control of the villages and not the federal government. All right, let's go back to the phones here to Dustin in New Jersey. Aloha, Dustin. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, if you don't have any bullets, the gun's useless. You can always use it as a club. That's the stupidest thing,
Well, one
man.
of the
Oh, my
advantages of being a black powder shooter is you make your own ammunition.
Yeah, and that's one thing with guns. Like, if they take the ammunition away, you don't have anything really. You know, a paperweight after you use all your ammunition up. You know, that's something to think about, right?
Yes.
Be your own ammo manufacturer at that point. You know, but Mike, on Syria, I forgot to mention yesterday when they had watched that interview with Assad. He also was talking about how it's the end of the unipolar world for the United States. He brought up the multipolar.
It is.
And you know, it's funny because that's what everybody is talking about. You know, well, everybody who knows what's going on. But he was also mentioned about the reconstruction, how from the airport and stuff, it's being, you know, things are being reconstructed. And then forgot his name on going underground. But he mentioned like, what about the United States or Britain? And you know, so I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, like they're not invited to. He said it's the Russians, the Chinese, and the Iranians that'll be involved in the reconstruction. You know, not the Americans or the British, or most likely the French neither. You know, because they're all involved in. Obviously, Israel and Saudi Arabia is not involved either.
Yeah.
In the reconstruction, but
makes sense to me.
Because they're the ones that because they're the ones that destroyed the country. Why, you know, isn't it amazing though? Like they'll destroy the country, and then just like how it works, they'll like bring in the IMF and loan you money, knowing you can't pay it back, and then steal and privatize everything. And that's where I want to go to Bolivia. There's something called, it's like the Lima Group that is behind this Venezuela, along with the United States and Britain, of the overthrow of Maduro, attempted overthrow coup. Is this something called the Confederation of States, or I don't know if I'm getting that's correct, the name, but it's like the same type of shady, hegemonic type of United States-controlled group that overthrows countries by throwing money into these protest groups, which he should have. Why are none of these countries learning to kick out like USAID and all these NGOs? When are these people gonna get it? Like, why are
well,
any
some of them
these
are.
NGOs?
I mean, some of them are. Russia's kicked out USAID.
Yeah, but the Russians and the Chinese should put up on a bulletin board for, you know, learn your lesson, kick out the NGOs, you know, and you know a lot of these religious people that go in there, like the guy who went to North Korea, remember that he was let go because he was ill. All these people are part of the CIA or intelligence community that go in there to stir up dissent. You know, that's their job, that's their role, and they'll bring in money, and they'll create like groups in there to stir. Because if you look at Bolivia, a lot of people don't know this, but they have like a big lithium mines there.
Yes.
You know, and that's got to be part of the equation here. What's going on, right? Because
no
I wonder how much money. Yeah, I mean, if they didn't have lithium and they had just had like nothing other than that, I don't think it would have been bothered with. You know, but since it has lithium, it makes you think. And then like the military over there, I mean, I don't know how much they got paid, you know, but like, and you know, the lithium mines is all, it's controlled by the government, so it's not privatized. And maybe because you have oligarchs over there also, like in Venezuela, like Guaido type of people, like in Venezuela, that want to privatize and sell it off because they don't care, because they're groomed by Washington. So, but that also leads me to Trump, and with this Confederation of States or Confederate, whatever it's called, that's doing this in Bolivia. Remember, Elliot Avers was put in by Trump, and he's got to be part of this. He's got to be. and Mike Pompeo, you know. So like, but you know what I noticed though? I noticed a lot of unrest going on in a lot of countries. Now, can some of them be legitimate? But like Hong Kong's not, right? Bolivia's not. I mean, these
You
are
have
all
to ask yourself
created.
how many of these are in fact U.S.-backed attempts at regime change, and I would have to say probably most of them. Now, I know there's a lot of discontent among the people of the world with their various governments because virtually all of these national governments have, to one extent or another, sold out to U.S. interests and the IMF. Anyway, listen, Dustin, stay on the line. We got to take a break for commercials. We'll be right back after these few words.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, 2, keep it today.
When all this twisted steel was swept away, did these remaining holes reveal what's really happened?
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show. We're talking with Dustin in New Jersey. And Dustin, got a couple of emails here responding to you, saying that Dustin is referring to the Organization of American States, the OAS, which basically appears to be an organization to enforce the Monroe Doctrine, which is South America is the U.S. backyard, keep your mitts off. The other one here is the story from Zero Hedge, how the Bolivian coup comes less than a week after Morales stopped the lithium deal.
And that, but like at this moment in history, Mike, with what's going on in Washington, D.C., with the coup against Trump, because like I said earlier, not today, but in the past, that you got multiple factions going on.
Yes.
Doesn't make Trump a good guy or a bad guy, but there's different things going on in this country by different groups of people. But at this moment in time, you got all these coups going on in the rest of the world, and it's like a scorched earth policy at this point.
Yes.
It looks like, and like it's sad because, you look at what happened in Hong Kong. They set the guy on fire. Like,
yes.
I mean, that's great, but why? How? I mean, these people in like Hong Kong, like they get brainwashed at the universities, right? It isn't all like about neoliberalism. I mean, like I know they got economic problems in Hong Kong because Hong Kong used to be it. Now it's China is it, and I know they have issues in Hong Kong now, but I mean, are these people so stupid that they're burning down their own places they live, smashing their own storefronts and all that, and they lost a lot of like people going there for holidays? And
yeah.
Don't these people understand that? I mean, I just feel sorry how it's like a divide and conquer where you're creating like here. A left and a right fight, Sunni and the Shia, hate the Chinese versus the Hong Kong people. Like you see that going on. Even in like Bolivia and Venezuela, you got factional fights going on that is created by us and the British, right? For lithium, and
yep.
for resources. That's it. And Mike, real quick before I get off the phone about Canada, you mentioned Canada. Did you hear about the little girl in school that was told that she's not a girl? There was like a story where she's
I
not
heard
a little.
about that.
And I'm thinking, like the parents are outraged, but where's the rest of the people? Like where is this what the West has become? A bunch of sheep go along and they keep their mouths shut and they just go along with it. Where's the sanity in Canada? Canada's finished. I mean, I know Al calls it. It's finished. It's finished here too, and it's finished in Britain and Germany because it's like not enough people are speaking out, and then the time the people do speak out, it's going to be too late. Because look, like with the Barbie doll you mentioned, and the other thing going on in Canada and Britain, the same thing in Britain with the transgenderisms and the you're not a man or a female, you're a binary. I mean,
yes.
I look at this that they're not mentally ill, they're evil because they're trying and they're saying at it because I used to think they're mentally ill because they're trying to instill what they believe because they've been taught in their universities or by some small group of people about these things. They're trying to push that on the rest of society, and that makes them not good, man. I mean, because like in the long run, this is what these people believe. Like I said, I don't think they're mentally ill at this point. I think they're cult members.
Yes.
And and you know what you notice? They're not stopping. They're not stopping at one thing. Like you said with Amazon, with the gingerbread house. My God, I mean, if you look at this, if I was an alien from space, I'd look down and say, what the hell's wrong with these people? I mean, it's just, it's a Fruit Loop society now, but it's not a Fruit Loop society. It's like, it's just an evil, it's become an evil thing, cultish. That's all I got to say, Mike. Have a good night.
All right, thanks an awful lot. We're going to switch over to Chance in West Virginia. Aloha, Chance. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. You got a call from John Stettmiller earlier in the show about what's going on in Idaho, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I have one question. Why is it that only one man called you up and mentioned this? I mean, nobody's concerned about this. Are sexual freaks in foreign nations, what they're doing, important right now while one of our fellow citizens are under siege? Is this where people's heads are at? I see no future for this country. Everybody's off in too many different directions. Until we
I agree, and that's by design, by the way. Well, we're waiting to get an update on what's going on with the Nickersons. We have a dearth of information, and our conduit right now to the Nickersons is Donna Nickerson herself and John Stadmiller. And when they have updated information for us, right now we're waiting to find out. Right now we're waiting.
And I realize that. But it doesn't seem to be of any concern to any of the callers.
We're all very concerned here. Chance, we're all very concerned here.
But we're talking about sexual freaks and foreign nations. I mean,
Chance, take a pause.
Yes, sir.
Waiting to find out if the Nickersons have been arrested or worse. And until we get that information, there's really not much we can do.
We can send them our best wishes and say that we're praying for them. We could do something instead of...
Well, we've already done that.
It's happening right while we're speaking. It didn't happen an hour ago. It's not happening an hour from now. It's happening right now at the moment. And I find it... we're watching another Clive and Bundy situation right in front of our eyes. All that's left for next is somebody that gets shot in the back, God forbid. This is tragic what's going on with these folks. And I think people should hear about this. I mean, don't they realize that this could just as easily happen to them tomorrow? I guess they don't care until it does. Is that it? Could that be it?
Well, that's the subtext on the website that they put out there. And like the Clive and Bundy case, I think the next question we need to ask is there something unique about the location of these two properties where somebody wanted them? Because that's what touched off the whole Clive and Bundy situation. Had nothing to do with turtles, had nothing to do with grazing rights, had everything to do with the fact that powerful political individuals wanted that property for development. And I have to ask, is the same thing going on with the Nickersons?
Exactly, but I have one word of warning, and that is, if we don't do nothing for these people in any way, shape, or form, don't look for anybody to do anything for you when it happens to you. And that's all I got to say, unfortunately, Mike. Have a good show.
All right, thanks an awful lot. We're going to switch over to Kenny in Los Angeles. Aloha, Kenny. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind? Kenny in Louisiana. My mistake. Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me, sir?
I hear you now. What's on your mind?
Okay. I'm a little upset about what's going on out in Idaho, too. And I'd like everybody, if I could, everybody ought to go to their news hotlines and turn this subject into them and see if we can get the news out there before somebody gets hurt, draw attention to this. Rather than going and shooting up guns, maybe we can get the news out there and get people on board with what's going on and if what these people are saying. And I heard their story earlier a few weeks back, maybe John Stepmiller's show. He interviewed this lady, or somebody did on this station. And what sounds like is going on is if these people are being legit and talking right about it all, that we ought to get the news out there. We ought to get people, just like that feller said earlier, we need to get all over this. We don't have to go out with guns, but if we can get the news there and get their attention, and if it's the truth that, over Christianity, the bank is whatever, that bank ain't going to want this kind of publicity over them. And so if we make it public, maybe if they're being done wrong, it can be made right. And anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. It's just kind of upset.
Well, no, I understand why you're upset, because I imagine everybody who's got a mortgage on their property right now is wondering, yes, it could happen to me. And as I said, talking about our previous caller, talking about Clive and Bundy, it turned out that the ultimate motive for that whole situation was that a powerful Nevada politician wanted that land, and by hook or by crook wanted the land as part of a larger development in the area. And I'm I'm trying to figure out if maybe these two properties up there at the Nickersons, the same thing is going on. Somebody there wants that property. They're not willing to sell. So we go and we connive with the banks to take it away from them.
Yes. Yeah. You know, I didn't know the full detail about the Bundys. I paid attention to it when it was going on, and I felt sad for them, but didn't know what to do. You know, we can't just go out and shoot people. We've got to deal with this the right way, and maybe just draw, if this dealing with a bank here, that maybe we can just draw publicity on it, and they won't like the negative publicity and change their minds is a possibility. One way to fight it's the way I'm saying. But I'll let you go. I don't want to hold up your show. I listen to you all the time, and you do a really good job. And I really enjoy your show. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You know, another one had to do with that wildlife refuge where there was another standoff, and it turned out that that wildlife refuge was sitting on land that was part of the Uranium One leasehold. So, yeah, I don't think what's going on with the Nickersons has to do with the fact that they're Christians. I think the land that they bought all those years ago, somebody covets it. Somebody with a great deal of political power. All right, we're going to go to Mark in North Carolina. Aloha, Mark. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. Mike, what I wanted to point out is how the situation with the Nickersons there in Idaho compares to Bolivia. Both are about probably grabbing some kind of minerals or something that the rich and powerful want. In Bolivia, I understand the lithium, and probably they got other rare earth minerals.
Yeah.
And that the Mr. What's his name again? Not Ramos. Morales. Morales wanted that for the people. He wanted that for the people. He was, you know, just as Gaddafi wanted the oil for the people. And I believe what happened was, like you pointed out with the Bundys, is there were also minerals there, probably uranium, that they wanted. And on top of that, probably something with the Nickersons too. You know, remember, out west there, it's very mineral rich.
Yes.
West. And I have to believe there's something like that. People gotta get together in this country and understand. When we talk about foreign policy, a lot of times foreign policy is directly related to what's going on in domestic policy. It's basically us versus them. Us, I mean the majority of the people in this country against a few, not only in the United States, but worldwide, a few elitist types that want everything. They want total control of us. They want it all. You know, I was just looking at some pictures the other day of what's his name, Nathan Rothschild.
Yeah.
And I was also looking at Prince Charles there. You know, Britain. They look like twin brothers. I believe there's probably some tie-in. Now, I don't know whether we go with David Icke. I mean, they're all a bunch of reptilians. I don't rule that out. I'll tell you that. But there's something inbred about a lot of these elites that make them very simple, you know. And I really believe that that's what it is. If people got to get wise, if we could deal with them. We could deal with them very easily. But first, we got to know who they are and what they're up to, and that they are the enemy. Got to stop looking at other countries as enemies. Russia's not our enemy. China's not. I just want to ask you one thing about China, though. Like, do you believe the stuff that they're saying that the Chinese are cutting out people's organs, prisoners' organs, and selling them, and putting a million Uyghurs, or, you know, I think that's what's called Uyghurs, in concentration camps? Do you think that's all a bunch of BS?
I imagine it's mostly BS. I do know that China does have a policy that condemned criminals can be used for organ harvesting, but then we don't know that it's not going on in this country. I mean, look at Planned Parenthood. They're harvesting the organs of completely innocent people.
Right. Yeah. Hello? You still there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. But when you say condemned prisoners, you mean inmates facing the death penalty that they're about to be executed? Or is it just any inmate? So it's not somebody that's maybe committed a robbery or something like that.
Well, I've never been to China, and I don't know the fine details about it. But we do know that in this country, Planned Parenthood routinely harvests and sells the organs of aborted babies.
That I know, and people got to understand who and what started Planned Parenthood. Who Margaret Sanger was. She was a Nazi. She was basically a Nazi eugenicist.
Yes.
Hitler actually admired her, and also that the Rockefellers and the Bush family were directly involved in starting Planned Parenthood. People got to understand that, and also the Bush family's ties and the Rockefellers' ties to the Nazis. But there's a whole lot of stuff going around. People just got to start understanding it, putting together. I've been trying my best to find things out. The more I look at, the more things I find. The more things I find, and people need to do that. There's plenty of information available today. Before it's too late. Before these people get what they want, and what they want is the end of mankind and to turn themselves into some kind of robot. That's their final objective. This Rainbow Six.
Yes.
Right on the money. And I'll take the answer offline, Mike. Hey, have a good day. Don't get too cold, man. It's freezing here now. It's 14 degrees.
It's going to be another chilly night here tonight. No, you're absolutely correct. One of Tom Clancy's best books, I'm a huge Tom Clancy fan, was Rainbow Six, in which he basically described this club, if you will, of the world's super rich who decided they wanted Earth all to themselves and let it go back to nature. And of course, they weren't going to kill themselves. They were going to kill off us hoi polloi, as it were. All right, we're going to take another break for commercials. We got more people waiting on the phone lines, and we'll be right back.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcasts. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
Many people write us about their experience with Extendivite. Allow me to read you some from Amazon.com. This product is superb. I have been taking it for about a year now, and I can feel my cardiovascular system run like a Swiss watch. I definitely recommend this product for anyone that has high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and heart palpitations, A+. It's potent, but it works. I have been waking up for the past 3 years with numb hands, and a week into using Extendivite, my numb hands seem to have cleared up. My circulation was off, and now it's back on track. So I'm happy. I feel so energized, and I have my husband on it now. My mother-in-law has cholesterol problems, so I bought her a bottle as well. Thank you so much. Love the product. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied, but you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Well, they're stealing down on Wall Street and in Washington too. You know, it makes me wonder, what's a guy on Main Street to do? I've always tried to be an honest, upstanding kind of guy. But I must admit lately, I thought about giving something else a try. Oh, I want to be a pirate. I want to sail the seven seas, yeah, I want to be a pirate. I want to do just what I...
And aloha, America. Welcome back to the show here. We're going to go back to the phones to Stuart in Florida. Aloha, Stuart. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
How you doing, Mike? Yeah, I just want to respond to these people who are frustrated that, nothing gets done. And as Dustin mentioned, a couple of countries that are lost. And the person who kept interrupting you and wouldn't take a breath was, so why don't people do anything about these people out there, the Nickersons? And the thing is it seems to me people really don't know which way to turn anymore because they relied on the voting system to get people to represent them. Well, people don't represent them anymore. The big money controls it. Big money controls it. And the only alternative to big money is, get to know your neighbors, every region a fortress, and study the art of war because you may need it. Now, let's go to Bundy Ranch. And Malor out there also afterwards. The reason Bundy was successful is because when the feds came, they were staring down a firing squad on the ridge. Okay? Yeah. And they backed off. And, hopefully it doesn't come to that. But if you think voting is going to get you out of this like this, I think it's a delusion that people need to relieve themselves of. And in a way, I'm kind of surprised about John Stadtmiller. I know he's your buddy there, and they put on a good network and stuff. He used to do a show I heard years ago with a man you may know, Mark Kornke.
Yes.
Mark Kornke was one of the best analysts out there, and he had no illusions. And he not only gave analysis, but he told you how to prepare and organize, okay? And he had many examples to show the successes. And I don't know if Mark, I used to listen to him. I don't know if he's still got a show on anymore, but he would be a great guy to have on. Because voting is not going to get you there. And so all you people who are frustrated, if you keep voting and think you're going to get very far, there's two forces in this world, the money and the sword. And hopefully it'll turn out like Lao Tzu said, the best way to win is to get your enemy not to start the fight.
Yes.
And I'll stop with that. So thank you, Mike. Have a good show.
All right, thanks an awful lot, Stuart. And we're going to switch over to Ken in New York. And Ken, I'm probably going to have to take you through station identification. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. I heard the Bundys mentioned. I just got in from work. I don't know anything about this Nickerson case. From what I understand, the only person that said that they thought the reason for going after the Bundys was Michael Savage several years ago, who said that he had rare earth minerals on his property. That would make a lot of sense. Could very well be. I mean, it is known that powerful politicians in Nevada coveted that property for development. So, Ken, stay on the line. We got to take a break for station identification. We'll be right back.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll-free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
You're listening to Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero? The history the government hopes you never learn. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show, hour number 3. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. And we've been talking with Ken in New York about the situation with the Bundy Ranch and whether it was rare earth elements or just the fact that the land was situated in the middle of an existing development block. We do know that the reason the Bundys were targeted had to do with the greed of very powerful politicians. And I think it's worth asking if the same thing is going on with the Nickersons right now, because it doesn't make sense to me that J.P. Morgan Chase would risk the negative publicity just because the Nickersons are Christian. I think that's very naive. I think there's something else in play, and I think it's either something that's on the Nickersons' land or where the Nickersons' land is located, because why would they be going after both parcels? So, Ken, anything to add?
Yes, about the comment about the voting before. I seem to remember a comment that was made quite a few times about Uncle Mao, who said that the only justice would be gotten at the end of a gun barrel. It's starting to look that way, and
yeah,
I'm not very happy about it.
I'm not happy about it either. The wrong people get killed and crippled in these sorts of things.
Good night.
Good night. We're going to switch over to Ken in Fort Worth. Aloha, Ken. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think with the Bundys over there, I'll just bet you there was a lot of snipers dug in the ground around that area, too. There's guys that are snipers, and they know what they're doing.
Yes, yes.
I think so. We don't know. But I'm thinking, obviously, somebody must have dug some holes and covered himself up, and they don't know where the bullets would have come from.
Well, we know that there were snipers there. Whether they were dug in all that much, we don't know. But it is known that there were snipers there.
A lot of guys that were snipers in the Army, and they probably ran right out there and dug a hole. Anyway, hey, Trump said, "I caught them all," unquote.
I think he was trying to talk about ISIS.
I don't know. He said he caught them all.
Whoever it was, he didn't catch them all. He had a lot of help that he's not acknowledging.
I don't know. You sure? Now, you know, there's 124,000 secret federal indictments out there. Maybe that's what he's talking about, huh?
I keep hearing rumors of secret federal indictments. I'm not seeing anybody get arrested and have the handcuffs dropped on. So I'm beginning to think those secret federal indictments are about as real as Saddam's nuclear weapons.
I don't know. They might be arresting right now. They might be arresting sex crimes and stuff, and it's possible. And they haven't got to the corruption yet.
I don't think so. I think it's another bluff to get us to sit on our rear ends and not do anything.
Well, I'm not doing that at all. I'm letting you know about it for one. Oh, did you get any snow in the? Did you get any snow?
We got about 2 inches last night.
Oh, enjoy it. Enjoy it. There's going to be more. I'll talk to you later. Bye. I'm going.
All right, thanks an awful lot. We're going to let you go. Okay. Apparently over at Meet the Press, they're hoping that Democrats are going to be able to dramatize the impeachment hearings with crying witnesses. To get some children out there. Crying children are always a great sell for political BS here. Getting on back to the economic news, Sears is closing half of its remaining stores. Half. Going into the holiday shopping season, they're closing stores. What does that tell you? Now, the biggest U.S. milk company, Dean Foods, has just gone into bankruptcy. What does that tell you about our economy here? All righty. Apparently out in California, there's a big stink there. More than 1,000 California police are accused of using background check databases for their own personal use. Checking up on ex-girlfriends or something like that here. Okay. We already talked about how there was no DNA test on that body on the gurney, so we don't really know that it was Jeff Epstein. I don't think it was. I really don't think it was. Okay. Earlier we reported on this huge volcanic caldera off the Philippines, and there's already a challenge to that. They're saying it's simply too big to be a volcano, because they're talking about, you know, it's 150 kilometers across. That's even larger than the Chicxulub crater, which is underneath Caribbean. The largest caldera on the surface of the Earth is Haleakala, and that's about 8 kilometers along. And so they're saying it might actually be a meteor crater. It might be an astroblem. And they're saying that they really don't know. Well, go down and take samples and look for coesite and suevite. Especially if you find suevite, yep, that's a meteor crater. Absolutely, absolutely is. All right, pardon me. Apparently there was a 50-vehicle crash in whiteout conditions in Ohio. So they're dealing today with the snow we dealt with last night. Now, the good news is we're going to have clear skies for the rest of the week. It's still going to be very, very cold temperatures. They're saying it's going to be a little bit warmer tomorrow, which is like our wind chill is -1. So we're being told to celebrate because wind chill will only be 0 tomorrow. And that is really, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold. Okay. Back when Obama was in office, the New York Times said, Obama is a social media genius. And today the New York Times is saying, well, you know, Trump can't just tweet whatever he wants. Sure he can. Unless he tweets something negative about Israel, at which point Twitter will pull his account. Alrighty. Still talking about a $50 trillion climate change push, deal with human-caused global warming. And again, we had an earlier caller said, aren't people paying attention to what's going on? Open your eyes, look out the window, look at the thermometer. We are not seeing any warming. I actually ran an article in the press the other day saying that we've had the warmest October on record. And no, in point of fact, we did not. Got to get a new lamp in here. There we are. Yeah, I mean, that's how arrogant the corporate media has become. It is freezing out there, and still they're out there saying, oh, yes, it's global warming. Oh, yes, you got to pay for carbon taxes. You got to do what we tell you to do. It's amazing here. Somebody was actually saying, are they going to dig up Remington's body and bring him into court to face the charges? The whole thing is just this huge, huge cosmic joke. Let's see. All right. Phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. There's an article here that says the fraud of climate change, and that's exactly what it is. It's been a fraud ever since Al Gore started this all back in the 1990s. And there are hard links between the world's largest financial groups, including Goldman Sachs, who are pushing this climate change agenda by selling green bonds, which are the latest scheme on how to lose a lot of people, a lot of money very fast. So that's it, climate bonds. The goal is to tap into literally trillions of dollars in the bond markets by capturing new wealth from a younger generation ignorant of how investment works. There are major global banks and financial giants with their hands out, hoping to get more than a fair share of a market that loses money with tremendous consistency. And let's do that. Come on, close the window here. If you go over to whatreallyhappened.com, up to near the top of the page, there's this gray box. And it's got links to the permanent articles that I think people should be aware of. That includes All Wars Are Bankers' Wars and various things. But there's also a page for ClimateGate. And I haven't updated it for this year yet, which I will probably do over the weekend here. But if you go down there and you'll just see what a complete fraud this has been. And that's exactly what it is. It is a fraud to get you to surrender your money and your free will to the globalists, the bankers. Anytime somebody says there's no such thing as a grand conspiracy against the general population, we got one. There it is, right there on full display. And that's the best word to describe it. It's a conspiracy. All it's going to take really is just one conspiracy that is too obvious to pretend it's not. And I know we have a lot of Americans who think by ignoring the obvious problems with the official story, that somehow this makes them more patriotic or loyal. No, it's making them look like idiots. And at some point, you have to get tired of being made to look like a fool by your own government. And once you look in a mirror and face up to it and say, the government lied to us about X, it starts to unravel all the way back. The government lied to us all about Saddam's nuclear weapons. They lied to us about Assad's poison gas. They lied to us about human-caused global warming. How much more do you have to be lied to before you're willing to stand up and say, I am sick and tired of a government that lies to me? It doesn't benefit me. It's not for my good that they lie to me. If what they're talking about was actually good for the general population, they'd tell us the truth and let us make our own choices. Being manipulated, people. Are being manipulated. You're being used. Alrighty. Pardon me. Somebody sent me a tweet basically saying Mujica was behind the Bolivian coup plot. Apparently, SpaceX launched another 60 Starlink satellites in the night sky. Now, during the first night, if you were under the orbital path, you could see them spread out across the sky, you know, like this chain. Of course, the more time goes on, the more they separate, but it's still possible to see this loose cluster. And everybody's talking about the new Disney Plus channel. Using it to push more product, okay? Somebody's asking a very good question. If carbon dioxide warms the planet, why is Mars so cold, despite an atmosphere that is mostly carbon dioxide? Question. Righty. All right, phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. And it does seem like the world is going kind of crazy. Got all this violence, all this rioting going on in all these different countries. Is some of it being whipped up by the U.S.? I would say most assuredly. Is some of it genuine anger by the people against corrupt government? Possibly. But it does feel like the world is heading toward a global revolution. I'd like to find a way to avoid it, but I don't think I can. And I may have wasted the last 20-odd years of my life trying to prevent it from happening. It has been very, very sad to watch this nation, the nation I was born in, the nation I spent my childhood in, to just watch it rot away bit by bit by bit. In a way, it kind of reminds me of when my mother got cancer, and we all knew she was dying. That's what the doctors had said. And just day by day, we just watched her as she withered away until finally she did die. And that's a lot of what I'm seeing in our nation's capital. Our members of Congress don't behave like members of Congress anymore. They're behaving like children. All right, we're going to go to the phones. Dan in Washington State, aloha. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hello, Mike. Thanks for taking the call. Hey, about the free trade and tariff issue again. I mean, do the globalists like free trade or not free trade? I mean,
Well,
because free trade is the heart of globalism when you're talking about the global bankers and the global oligarchs doing all these nefarious things. The mantra that they've been using is free trade, right?
yes. Well, I imagine it depends on what country the globalist happens to be in, because they may talk about free trade, but what they really want is advantageous trade, trade that benefits them over other countries. And that's a big part of Trump's push against China, which has backfired spectacularly, but nobody wants to admit that.
But, you know, from my research, you know, we always had tariffs. So if you put like a 10% tariff, say, on all imports, that would pretty much destroy this new world order. I mean, you can't have, if every nation put up tariffs to benefit themselves, or say at least switch to fair trade, where trade is balanced, that would destroy all these problems that people call in and talk about all the time of this whole new world order concept, you know?
Well, I think that's a drastic oversimplification, because the push for the New World Order is far more than just economic. They want a one world government. They want all of the different ethnic groups in the world blended together into one gray, humanity. And it's not working out very well, but they're going to keep on trying.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And they try to attack every nation's, ethnicity or individual thing. It's just, I mean, as long as we have free trade, though, that's just the way it's going to go, because it's going to lead to global oligarchy and global government and all this stuff. So just I wish people would, take a second look at tariffs and maybe switch to fair trade and saying I'm for fair trade instead of free trade, because to me, free trade, that's pretty much the heart of the New World Order's philosophy, of free trade with China, where you send all your jobs there and then they buy our bonds, and that's how they set it up, but that's not fair to us. American workers.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. And, everyone likes to talk about, well, the American workers, they're lazy, they demand too much. But really, the problems with American manufacturing go back to management. And it goes all the way back to the end of World War II, when the United States was the only country whose industrial base hadn't been bombed into rubble. And so we could do no wrong. As the rest of the world rebuilt their industrial base, they had to come to the United States for heavy machinery, for ball bearings, for factory equipment. And these companies that manufactured this equipment were making money hand over fist. And they had so many orders to fill, they couldn't promote from within. Those people who knew how to make those products had to remain on the factory floor. And so Harvard Business School came up with this program called Scientific Business Management, which was a set of matching tools that they claimed could be applied to different companies no matter what their business was all about. And they created a degree program to go with it called the Masters in Business Administration, the MBA. And so all of a sudden, all of these factories were getting these managers coming in from college with an MBA degree. And the first thing, of course, is it built a lot of resentment. Okay. Stay on the phone, Dan. I'm going to finish this up when we come back from our sponsors.
OMG! People are jumping on board to the Life Change Tea Regiment. Brew, steep, and drink for a gentle, taste great cleanse. It's changing how they feel. See what everybody's talking about. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Life Change Tea aids in digestive slowdown and helps people get moving down a healthy path. We won't make claims. We'll just let you decide. Experience is much better than a commercial anyway. If you want results, log on to getthetea.com and purchase your super strength cleansing tea. You won't be disappointed. And if you're looking for some mind-body suggestions, go to YouTube and punch in the search bar Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. Put power into your health now. So, getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com for super strength tea. And YouTube, Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now for valuable suggestions. Getthetea.com, the tea that makes you go.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Women and children alike.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show here. We're talking with Dan in Washington State about the devolution, if you will, of American manufacturing, starting at the end of World War II, when our factories were so busy helping the rest of the world rebuild their industrial base that they couldn't promote from the floor. Those people on the floor who knew how to make stuff had to be kept there. So Harvard came out with the MBA, and all of a sudden, all of these factories started hiring in these college graduate, MBA degreed managers. And this created an immediate problem where the people working on the factory floor were demoralized because they had grown up in an environment where if you worked hard and produced a good product, you would be promoted, and now they were being told, no. We're going to wait for a college degree, an MBA, to come along. The second problem is that all of these MBAs that were in mid-management at the end of World War II, they're the CEOs of today. And they have grown up through the corporate ranks, as it were, without any kind of an emotional connection to the product that their factories make, whether it's donuts or cars or pharmaceuticals. They don't care. It's all the same to them when it gets to their computers. And it's for that reason that there isn't a dedication to quality that used to be the hallmark of American products.
Well, I would agree with that, to a point. I would just say that that's a symptom of the disease, and the disease is getting rid of the tariffs, because corporations have no morality. They're just going to go where to maximize profits. And from what I've learned after Reagan Thatcher, you had the rise of global corporations, and then you had this whole movement. But if you put a tariff in, I mean, a good example, take Nike and New Balance. Okay, they're both good shoes. New Balance tried to be dedicated to keeping the jobs in America. And then you have Nike, where you have one billionaire, Phil Knight or whatever his name is, that just makes them in China. But if you put a 10% tariff on tennis shoes, that difference in cost would force Nike, I haven't done the math, I don't know the internals, but it's going to force a lot of these jobs to come back. So he would, you would tax Nike's 10%, and that might make up for the different labor costs and environmental rules. And then he would have to make his shoes here in America,
Well, we haven't seen that quite so far yet. And don't forget there's another aspect, and that is the physical plant costs. In other words, for the jobs to come back to America, somebody has to invest in rebuilding the factories. And a few companies have, but overall, we're not seeing the flood of jobs returning to the United States that was promised by the promoters of the tariffs.
No, I mean, I think Phil Knight could afford to build a big, huge Nike plant in Oregon, where the guy's from, and if not, then drive him out of business. I really don't care. Your caller calls about these billionaire oligarchs they have, and a lot of them have no loyalty to this country at all. Just like the stock market, represents global corporations, not really Americans. So, if they're not going to contribute to building a good society like Nike, then I would say, put a tariff on, and then if he can't invest in bringing the plant back, then put him out of business. I don't care. I mean, someone else will make shoes. All this stuff,
absolutely, and
all the little stuff.
People need to stop looking for the swoosh. They got to stop falling for the icon, and basically just look for a good shoe. And yes, made in America is a good idea. But these multinational corporations, they're going to exploit cheap foreign labor to maximize their profits here.
Yeah, and I also think they invest in propaganda. I think Phil Knight, I hear talk radio, like if you listen to mainline radio in Oregon, they have a talk show guy that always promotes free trade. Well, Nike's a sponsor, and then Nike will sponsor, like Michael Jordan, or they'll sponsor all these little things just to make themselves look like a good company or something. But, the guy doesn't want to build his shoes here. So that's that would be a lot of jobs, that people would do. I mean, if you paid them decent, and it might not raise the cost. Like that debate with Ross Perot and Al Gore. I mean, even a tiny difference in labor cost.
Yes.
He might only raise a pair of shoes $1 per pair, but you can pay people $30 an hour versus $2 an hour or whatever they make in China, or $2 a day.
Well, most of those shoes are made by machinery anyway, so it really wouldn't matter where the machinery is. Anyway, listen, Dan, we got to let you go. We got more callers waiting on the line, and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Don't regret growing old. It's a privilege denied to many. Heart disease is taking our youth from us. Young people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond are dying needlessly. One of the hardest messages I've ever had to deliver is to convince people that something natural like Extendivite should be taken as a preventative measure. I'm sure you heard an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Extendivite is that ounce. Take Extendivite for 1 year and see what your doctor has to say and how much better you feel. Herbs take time to address the problem. It took years of life to have a problem. Give Extendivite 1 year to fix the problem. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or visit us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey, this check is wrong. I worked a holiday and 7 hours of overtime. Not getting paid correctly is a real pain. It could also hurt our boss if our company provides out-of-compliance checks. That's right, construction companies doing business with the government can get fined, or officials of the companies can go to jail if the checks aren't right. It's a law. The Davis-Bacon Act has 30 compliance issues for every check. But there is an easy way for construction companies to be in compliance. EMARS offers Compliant Client, a web-based system that finds and corrects all 30 of the possible out-of-compliance check issues. Users of Compliant Client report an 80% savings in time and money. Running a weekly payroll usually takes about 5 minutes. All 15,000 plus clients of EMARS have never had a legal compliance issue. Plus, they sleep better on check day. Contact EMARS at emarsinc.com or call 480-595-0466.
What this country is coming to, I sure would like to know. If they don't do something by and by, the rich will live and the poor will die. Doggone, the panic is on. Can't get no way, can't draw no pay. Unemployment getting worse.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to the show here. We're going to go back to the phones to Susan in Texas. Aloha, Susan. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, this is Susan, and I just came back from visiting Hawaii.
Yes.
We drove on Mauna Kea, and there was just tons of people along the road, camped out, protesting possibility of putting a new observatory there.
Yes.
So I was just wondering if you comment on that. I hadn't heard it before, and I did talk to one islander, and his opinion was let them build it. They're going to build it anyway, and
Yes.
they would make money off of it. But
Yes.
so I thought I'd get your input.
Well, it's a complex issue, and it's actually been around for quite some time. The specific instrument under discussion is called the 30-meter telescope. When completed, it will be the world's largest optical telescope. Now, the observatory that's already up in Mauna Kea is one of the finest in the world. It has the dual Keck telescopes, among others, and it is a tourist draw. People go to the Big Island, they drive up there to see the telescope. But there are a lot of the traditional Hawaiians who feel that the land is sacred and should not be defaced. Now, if we were talking about constructing a brick fertilizer plant, I would be on the side of the native Hawaiians. But I think there's a different way to look at that, and that is the fact that right now, Mauna Kea is the home to Madame Pele. And Madame Pele right now wears a crown of the finest jewels science can build. And every crown needs a crown jewel. And in my view, the 30-meter telescope is going to be the ku'unur of the observatory. And Pele's a woman. She's going to love her bling. So I think they should go ahead and build it, because otherwise they're going to build it in the Canary Islands, and the Canary Islands will get the tourism plus the cash influx for running the observatory.
Right. I just didn't know if there was some underlying, environmental issue they were protesting, or it was just a religious thing mostly.
It's mostly a religious thing, because that high on Mauna Kea, it's pretty much all dirt. You're above half the Earth's atmosphere. It's so high you don't even really get, well, you get snow there occasionally, but usually it's above the clouds.
Okay. And, I had one other question. I didn't know if you had any idea, but now I'm in Austin, so when we get summer heat, it never ends. It's like it's hot all night. There, during the day, it almost felt like the heat was burning my skin, and it wasn't, that hot, but then it cooled off at night. So is it a different atmosphere other than just the ocean?
No, it's because you're above most of the atmosphere, and your skin is feeling the ultraviolet a lot more intensely. So yeah, if you're going to be hanging out outside at the observatories, you need to have sunscreen.
So it's the elevation of just the island in general, though. Yeah. Okay.
Well, if you go all the way, if you go all the way to the bottom of the ocean, Mauna Kea is the tallest mountain on Earth.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we couldn't go to it. It was definitely blocked off. But,
yeah, we'll see how that works out. I'm in favor of the observatory being built. Right now, there's a compromise position being offered, and that is that there are a couple of instruments up there at the observatory which are no longer in regular use. And so the offer is being made that they will be torn down to sort of balance the impact of the 30-meter telescope. I'm opposed to that simply because at some point there's going to be some college kids who could make use of those instruments.
Right, I would think so. Makes sense. Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. And we're still trying to get more updates on the Nickersons, but nothing yet so far. Let's go back to the phones to Tom in Florida. Aloha, Tom. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Aloha, Michael. I like that one you said the other day. Who's your daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael. That was good. Yeah, Michael, what I want to talk about is actually what's going on with, again, as the immigration rolls, as the world turns. I just want to ask your opinion. What do you think is going to happen with the Supreme Court in DACA? What's going to happen with this nonsense?
Well, the Supreme Court seems to be leaning toward supporting Trump, saying that it was illegal to begin with. It shouldn't have been brought into law. The question is, what's going to happen to all those people who are in this country under DACA? And of course, the pro-immigration people are already making the argument, well, it wasn't their fault. It was their parents who brought them in here. And so you should leave them there. But as the New York Times has already admitted, this mass immigration is tilting the electorate toward the Democrats.
Well, Michael, absolutely. You know what? If Trump doesn't, and I'm going to tell you, Michael, if Donald Trump does not do something drastic with this, and look with Virginia, there's your example, Trump. If you do not stop this, and DACA is caca in my book, because you know what? I'm sorry about that, but you know what? You broke the law. Obama had no right to write the law for himself.
No, he didn't.
Cortero knew exactly what he was doing. He was doing that for the Democratic Party to keep flooding this place with all these future voters, because these people are 90% of them are going to probably vote Democrat for the next 50 years. Okay.
Yes.
So I have to say that Trump better do something drastically, and he better start doing like Eisenhower, or we're going to look at a potential civil war in this country, because these people are not coming here to compliment. Come and eat the lunch, take the jobs. Michael, they don't want to. In California, over 35% of the households do not speak English.
Yes.
That's insanity. That's
and they're
insanity.
openly contemptuous, of white people, U.S. citizens.
That's correct. And don't forget DACA. You got this other thing, TPS, this TPS thing here in Florida, and what they're trying to do in Texas. They're trying to say, well, all these countries are having a revolution, so what do you got? Give them another 2 years in here. No. You send them back and let them do their own battle. And, the country of Mexico has got, now they're going to bring this guy, Morales over there from Bolivia. What does that tell you about Mexico, Michael?
Yes.
I mean, come on. This is all absurdity. And I'm telling you, if Trump does not put his foot down, because there'll be no more Republican president after Trump. I do believe that. If this is not dealt with now. Because you cannot allow these other states to be flipping around. Virginia is gone, which was a Republican state 20 years ago. Now and Michael, they even said it on Breitbart, Drudge, Newsmax, all these networks, and Savage was talking about it. That state went blue because of immigration. 90% of it, you had a lot of people coming out of New York and New Jersey trying to flood the state. Because most of those people in New Jersey and New York, when they leave their states and they come down south, they're bringing their same crappy politics with them.
Yes.
But mainly it's because of immigration. And I'm telling you, this cannot continue on. Trump, I want to see what's going to happen with this Supreme Court ruling and how Trump's going to deal with this. Because if he doesn't deal with it correctly, there'll be no more Donald Trumps coming down the chute. That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's no way. They're all going to vote Democrat.
If they flip Texas blue, that's it. We'll never see another Republican president.
No, sir. Michael, you're so correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. You are correct. If they do that, but they try to do Florida. And let me tell you, it was very close here in this governor's election. If that guy Gillum would have got in here, this place would be going blue like you wouldn't believe. I just know what's going on. You got the state of New Jersey to New York. There's your model right there. What they've done to our country. You got Soros's, you got these schmucks in Hollywood, you got this shift, you got all these creatures running around in Congress. They're a minority, they're 2% of the population, yet you're controlling the mindset of this country. It's got to stop and desist now, because we cannot tolerate this insanity. Israel has a wall around it. We need a wall around our border.
Yes.
We're funding their wall. We're funding their military in Israel. And if you notice, all these people in Congress that are going after Trump, they're mostly Zog. Let's not kid ourselves. I can't lie about that. I mean, some people don't want to hear the truth, but that is the truth. Let's just honestly tell the truth. You got a lot of great ones, but you got a lot of bad ones. It's just unbelievable. And what they're potentially trying to do in the United States is ruin it. You got Venezuela as an example.
In large part.
Exactly. In California, you will not find anywhere in the southern part of California, you will not find a white male doing block masonry work. You can't find it. You're just not going to find it. They're taking over the trades. They're taking over. It's unbelievable. And it's got to stop.
Yes.
And Trump, if he goes along with DACA, and he starts saying, well, we got to, you know what? I will be so mad at Trump, I won't know what to think. But but me throwing all this on Trump, Michael's not really right, because I weigh this out. He's got a Congress that's so inept, so discombobulated as far as their ideology. They want the ruination of the United States, Michael. They want the ruination of this great country of ours. It's disgusting. It's truly disgusting what these Democrats are trying to do, even with this impeachment nonsense. What about when Obama's on a hot mic and all the stuff that Biden was doing in Iran, $100 billion in cargo planes? Where was that? Where was that, Democrats? Where were you talking about Barry Soetoro, Hussein Obama? Okay? And this guy was mentored by Frank Marshall Davis, a full-blown communist.
Yes.
Obama. I mean, and I believe that could be his father, because I almost don't believe the other guy's father. I agree with you. And if this continues on, Michael, we are looking at a very potential big super disaster in the United States. And I'm talking where it's going to be ugly. And the only thing I can honestly say, I think the right people in this country have guns in their possession, not the wrong ones. But I don't know how that's going to turn out. Because, look, John Adams said it when he took the presidency. With a gun, you're a citizen. Without a gun, you're a subject. And that's what these Democrats are trying to turn us all into subjects.
Yes.
That's their modus operandi. And you got Bernie Sanders out there, that kook Ocasio-Cortez, and all these kook jobs in a demon rat party. It's unbelievable. And immigration, to me, is what's going to be the linchpin now. What's going to happen in this country in the next 10 years. Will we be around to see it? I don't know. But I can tell you it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And we'll see how it plays out, because the way Schiff is getting away with this impeachment hearing on all this nonsense you're hearing, and then you had this the Mueller crap. The guy didn't even know what was going on in his own report. What?
Yes.
What nonsense? This guy Mueller. I mean, it's the biggest nonsense that I've ever seen. But it seems like it's a Hollywood plot, like a Hollywood play or a movie. It's filth. It's really what it is. It comes out to be controlled by filth that's controlling our government. And it's like a rotten apple that's just getting rotten to the core. And I just hope that Trump has the fortitude to stick it out and realize that the people that are supporting him, you want to call them deplorables, whatever, it's because he's in office, because the deplorables are fed up with the lying nonsense.
Yes.
Due to the hypocritical lying media. Because the media are such lying criminals. They should be locked up. And Michael, and you know how I feel, and I'm sure we feel the same. The sanctuary city is Donald Trump hasn't showed me nothing. Now they got a guy in San Francisco. What is it? The DA. This guy said it's all right for you to urinate. We're not going to do that to you and all that. What's going on with that? I mean, they have to put boulders in the places so homeless can't sleep. You got, matter of fact, they were talking about Oakland today on Newsmax about there's so many homeless in Oakland. It's like zombie land or something. You heard about that, Michael?
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's like zombies controlling the streets and walking around. People don't want to even come out of their doors and their houses, and it's madness. I don't know where you're at, Michael, as far as Indiana. I don't know the big cities, Indianapolis, but I know here in South Florida we got a couple cities, man. We have a thing in the paper. They're talking about the drug epidemic here is terrible.
Yes.
They got this new drug, Molly, and you got this new Molly drug, and it had like 5 people OD'd the other day here in South Florida. And then you have them up in Broward County and Palm Beach. I mean, and that's only here. It's insanity what's going on.
Well, there's a big
yes.
There's a big meth problem here in Indiana, which I suspect is mostly the truck drivers. Where I am in Indiana, it's very bucolic. But over on the west side of Evansville and up to Indianapolis, yeah, those are your typical urban blight towns.
Right. Well, it's like that's pretty close to Chicago, believe it or not. And, I know all about Chicago. That's another thing. The police sheriff there, I believe, is getting ready to resign, or he's retiring or something. And you got that kook mayor, the lesbo, in Chicago, and she's one allow ICE to come arrest these illegals all over the place. And it's just insanity what these Democrats are getting away with, and nobody's stopping it, and no arrests are being made in sanctuary cities. So there I got to agree with Dustin. Trump hasn't shown me nothing because I guess his hands are so tied. I suppose I don't know what the deal is, but you tell me about Article 8. I looked it up. There's laws on the book that President Trump has every right to arrest these people, these mayors. He has every right to go get the feds to go arrest these people. Every right, and I haven't seen it yet. I want to know why it hasn't this been implemented. Why hasn't this taken place? That Trump said that's it.
Especially when you consider it is constitutionally the job of the executive branch to enforce the existing laws. And there are existing laws that make all of this activity illegal, and nothing's being done. They talk about, well, maybe we need a new law. No, we don't need a new law. We've got laws. The current laws are being ignored.
Absolutely, Michael. Like you say, they're going after Trump right now for the biggest bullcrap you ever heard. But Trump should reverse this course right now. Say, Pelosi, you're going to jail. Schiff, you're going to jail. Every Democrat that supports sanctuary cities should be put in a gray bar, behind a gray bar hotel. Every one of them. You support sanctuary cities, you're going behind a gray bar hotel, and you are going to do a severe sentence. I'm wanting to see. I want to see the shoe drop with this guy. What's the two CIA Brennan and who's the other guy? Who's the other guy? Brennan and the other guy was in the CIA or running whatever.
Yeah.
Clapper. Okay. I want to see Clapper and Brennan arrested in the Gray Bar Hotel because what they did was totally illegal. That's where the real arrest should come from, not to try and impeach Donald Trump. To go after these people in the deep state that were doing so much insanity with this FISA and all that. These people need to be put in jail, Michael.
I agree.
Behind bars for 10, 15 years. I mean, the American public's going to get so fed up. And I don't know, it's going to be a disaster. I really believe so. I believe so.
I agree. All right, Tom, got to let you go. Got to take a final break for commercials. We got 2 callers waiting on the line we're going to get to after these words from our sponsors.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, the number 2, keep it today.
How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, fingers and or toes often go cold, arms and or legs often go to sleep, sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe, short walks cause cramping or pains in legs, memory is not as good as it used to be, ankles swell late in the day, chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcasts. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
When all this twisted steel was swept away, did these remaining holes reveal what's really happened?
And aloha, America. Welcome back to our show. Last segment of our program today. Still no update on the Nickersons. So hopefully Don will be calling into John Stadmiller's show and with a little bit of an update. And again, I don't think this is just because they're Christians. I think there's something about that land, either minerals that are on it or its location, that made it valuable to some very powerful politician who would rather take it than pay fair market value for it. Okay, we're going to go back to the phones. Nancy in California. Aloha, Nancy. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yes, I was listening to the former conversation, and he mentioned Mueller and how Mueller didn't know anything that was in the report. It's because he's just being handled. It's the behind-the-scenes power. It's not, some people, President Trump has referred to it as the swamp. I heard somebody else refer to it more as a cesspool. So, it's just the people behind the scenes that are controlling these little puppets. And that was pretty apparent when he didn't even know what was in his own report.
Well, you know the problem with the cesspool, right? Really big chunks float to the top.
Yeah, easier to be a target, right? Hopefully.
No, it means you're on top. It was a joke. Forget I said anything. It was just a joke.
Yeah, I know. Okay. It was funny. Anyway, okay. That's all I had. Thanks.
All right. Thanks an awful lot. We're going to let you go. All right. So 2 things we want to keep our eyes on going into tomorrow. The first, of course, is the Nickersons. And there's still no update. Hopefully Donna will call in to John Stadmiller's show and we'll find out if they got arrested or if something worse has happened to them. But again, I don't think this is just because they are Christian. I think there is something valuable about that land, either minerals that are buried on it or its location, and some powerful politician wants that land, wants both of those pieces of property without having to pay for them. So they go to the banks and they say, gin up, some excuse to take their property. They need that sponsor that we have here that looks at the legality of repossessions and so forth. According to our control room, John is speaking with the Nickersons right now, so he's probably going to lead off his show with an update, which is going to be coming up here in just a few minutes as my show ends here. And the other thing, of course, we're keeping an eye on is tomorrow starts the public hearing for the impeachment process. And we're going to find out if the Democrats really have a there, or if they're trying to build a case for impeachment entirely on rumor and innuendo and hearsay, second, third, fourth hand, fifth hand information. I don't think they have anything. And now you've got Adam Schiff saying the whistleblower will not be allowed to testify. He's going to personally make sure that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are not called to testify. I mean, this is just reeking of corruption from top to bottom. All right, there's the music. Time for me to get on out of here. Stay tuned for John Stadmiller. Like I said, he's getting an update from the Nickersons right now, and he'll have lots of interesting information to share with you. So stay tuned. Spread the word of RBN. Spread the word of whatreallyhappened.com. We'll be back tomorrow. Aloha, America.
yeah.